Hi, everybody. So the purpose of this video is to explain some things about my syllabus and about the other documents that I have to show you that you can find by looking at Blackboard and doing some reading. So I'm going to go over some of these things so that I don't have to spend time in class doing, because it's really kind of boring. And honestly, you don't even have to watch this video if you just read the documentation. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. And my screen is not cooperating very well, but that's pretty typical, sorry to say. Okay. So I'll go over to Blackboard here. I hope that you've all found Blackboard. And on Blackboard, you see there's a, it tells you where you are, tells you how to attend a class over here by clicking on this link over here. All right. It has a nice welcome video that I made in the fall, which, by the way, refers to when classes are, but it refers to the fall classes, not the spring classes. So please ignore that. But this is the section that I'm going to be going over. Okay, this has different documents here. It has the syllabus. It has a syllabus part 2. It has this academic integrity statement, and then some information about the withdrawal policy at Rhode Island College. Let me just go into OneNote, which is what I do when I'm in class. So I'm going to have stop share. Another share. Okay. Okay, so this is my syllabus, not all that exciting. The first part talks about why it's so much fun in this course, why we study this and why it should be interesting. So I hope that you read that. But what I really kind of want to get to is the nitty gritty, like about when the classes are. So we have synchronous classes. They meet Monday, Wednesday at 2 via Zoom. And I would like you to enter the Zoom classroom through Blackboard, so through the site that I just showed you. My office hours, well, you know how it is with Zoom, okay? So I'm going to have some office hours right after class on Monday and Wednesday. However, I hope that you will actually email me when you want to see me and we can make an appointment. So please do not hesitate to do that. My email is on here, lcooley@ric.edu. My pen stopped writing. I don't know. Okay. All right. So the first lab meeting actually happens before class. So at least for the Tuesday section. So it's actually Tuesday at 1 o'clock, the very first day of classes. And I'd like you to enter that through the Blackboard for the lab as well. And there'll be a similar column in the upper left-hand corner that you can click on. In this course, we use open source textbooks. So we use OpenStax Chemistry, and here's the link. And it's not going to cost you anything. If you love to have a hard copy, you can either download it chapter by chapter to your printer at home, or the bookstore does have some, I believe, printed copies that you could lug around if you really wanted to. I would say that the main source of information this semester will be your notes, what we do in class, and the many handouts and activity sheets that I do give out and post on Blackboard. So I'll let you know which parts of the book we're going to be covering. And it is a good idea to read the book. All right, so this again shows you how to get into the Zoom classroom, which you can read. But really, it's very simple, and it's really just clicking on that link that I showed you. I want to say that I will also be making some videos like the one I'm making right now that I'm really doing to limit the amount of talking that I have to do in the class. So I'm not squeezing things in all the time. We do have online homework in this course. It's through Sapling Learning, and you do have to get yourself an account if you don't have one already from Chem 103. I believe you can register for Sapling, and then they give you a little bit of time before you have to pay for it. And also, if you go to the bookstore, they really should have some access cards that you can buy. And in that way, you can use your financial aid. Okay. I give out lots of handouts. If you were to be in class, I would give you lots of paper, but these will all be posted. I call them activities. They're really problems or things that you should know how to do for the current unit. Sometimes there's whole pages of explanation of different topics that I don't think the book does a very good job on. Some of these activity problems end up being what I call graded assignments. Or I could give a sheet of a graded assignment, which is completely different from the activities. I do both. I call these GAs. I have these for each unit, and they actually count to your grade. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I also have special problems. Okay, some of them I denote as special problems, and those actually are extra credit. I'll talk about that a little bit later. All the solutions to all the activities, all the graded assignments, all the special problems are always posted on Blackboard. If I'm a little late doing it, it'd be great if someone would send me an email. I really don't mind that kind of help. You know, it's very hard to have an active classroom in an online platform. I find it, you know, a little bit more difficult than in the classroom itself. But I still really would like your participation. And I would appreciate it if you could turn on your video at least for some time when you're in the class. It's really difficult for me to keep up a kind of enthusiasm and, not become, a drone if I'm looking out at a sea of names and I don't see any faces or anybody sort of paying attention. It's difficult, believe me. So it would be great if you could at least some of the time turn on your video during the class, and nobody cares if you look your most gorgeous. You all look wonderful, and so it would be great if you would do that. I like an interactive classroom. If you have a question, wait for a pause and then say, Dr. Cooley, I have a question, or do the raise your hand thing. Except I think that raise your hand thing is sometimes hard to see in a big class. All right, so anyway, what I'm saying is take good notes. Don't just sit there, ask questions, answer questions if I ask them, and it will go a lot faster and it'll be a lot more fun. Okay, so I do have, here's the grading for the class. Everyone always wants to know about the grading. So the lab is always 30%. That's our policy in the department. And then I'm going to have 4 exams. We have really 7 units in this course, but one, the acid and base unit, is so large, it's like a double unit. So it's almost like 8 units. So I have basically 2 units on each exam. But the acids, like I said, is broken up. So anyway, you'll see when we get to it. But so the first exam will be on the first 2 units. The second exam will be on the second 2 units. The third exam will be on, et cetera. And these exams, they do count. Well, I drop 1. So it's the 54% of the grade. But remember, I've dropped 1. And also, these are take home, right? Obviously. And I tend to give students considerable time to do these exams, like in the days, okay? The thing is, I have to worry about cheating because I have had some cheating in my classes, and other teachers I know about have had it as well. So I have to take some measures to prevent it, even though I don't really like that. So what I'm going to say here is, while I have 4 exams, I have graded assignments and online homework, and you can see the percentages here. I'm going to reserve the right to give a final exam if I find that there's been a lot of cheating, because I need people to know certain things before the end of this class. And so I really don't want to do this. I would prefer not to do this. But if I have to, and I see that there's a lot of cheating, I will reserve the right to schedule a timed final exam for some or all students, okay, to take in the last days of finals week. Nobody wants to do this. It's beginning of May. hopefully we'll be coming out of isolation, during this semester. And it's just not something I want to do, but I will do it if I have to. So I just want to show you the handout that we have, Mrs. Syak and I have, on academic integrity, basically on cheating policies. Okay. So first of all, and we both agree that this is like the number one thing we want to say, is that we really don't expect people to cheat. We don't think that most people would do this, okay? We start with this attitude that everyone's going to act with integrity and honesty and do their own work. But we have seen that this is not always the case. And there was some cheating in 103, I know, last semester, and there was some cheating in 104. But I think that my policies tended to limit it in this class, and I was glad about that. And one of the things that I do is I give these four exams, and you have considerable time to do them, like maybe 5 days even, or even a week. Why do I give so much time? Do I do it so people can cheat? Obviously, I don't want people to cheat. That's not the reason. Both of us, Mrs. Syak and I, know that students have busy schedules. We know that this pandemic is not making it less stressful, obviously. We know it's not easy to always get quiet time at home, and we want to make sure that each student has enough time to get the work done. We really believe in this, and that's why I give a lot of time to do these things. I don't give the time to students so they could put their questions up on Ask Jeg and get the answer back from some expert who usually doesn't answer it right anyway. So what I'm going to do is I will be having more than one version of each exam. I will require a fair amount of explanation in your own words, and I will be using Safe Assign. And Safe Assign is a way of catching copied answers. They basically is a database for everyone who's taken Chem 104 in the past and even this semester, and also a database of websites. And if you copy something, it'll be there. Even if you just change the wording a little bit, it'll find it. And we'll be pretty vigilant about looking for cheating. I actually have a membership in some of these sites where you have to pay to get the look at the questions answered, and I'll be monitoring that. So if you are going to cheat, I'll probably find out. So it's really not a good idea, because then you'll get a 0 for the exam or the lab report, and also report it to the office of the vice president. I'm supposed to do that. So, and if you get, if that happens more than once, then there might be other consequences besides what I would do. So we just appeal to you that you do your own work this semester. And so I think that starts with coming to class and taking good notes. Okay. I actually post my notes, so you could take your notes and hold them up against the Post-it notes and see if there's anything you missed, and ask me a question if there's something you missed. You should do all the activity sheets. You can use those activity sheets. You can use the solutions to those activity sheets when you do an assignment or take an exam. It's not restricted. So there's lots of ways you can get the information from the information you're allowed to use, as opposed to going the dishonest way. I actually recommend that you keep track of the topics in each lecture and make almost a kind of table of contents to your notes or to my notes. And by the way, I also post the recorded lectures, so you'll have that as well. So, let's suppose you're taking a quiz on acid base, and you say, oh, this question is asking you to find the pH of a weak acid. Well, when did we cover that in class? So you look in your class notes, which maybe you've written a nice table of contents for, and you go there. And then, you can almost cheat off your own work or your own notes, as opposed to, going online to some place where, who knows, they may do it a completely different way from what we did in class, and you won't even understand what you're writing and that sort of thing. And you will actually learn the material. So Mrs. Syak and I really want you to take pride in knowing chemistry and learning chemistry. And it's really not easier to cheat. Okay, so this is what you shouldn't do. Do not copy another student's work. Do not copy another student's work changing a few of the words. Do not allow another student to copy your work, because you will be penalized as much as they are. Don't copy exact words, sentences, paragraphs from a book. Don't go to Ask Chegg or something like that and put your question up there, Course Hero, whatever the heck these things are called. By the way, a lot of times they're wrong. They're not experts. It's a bunch of baloney, okay? Anyway, I want you to know that zeros were given last semester on tests and labs, and it always brought down the final grade of the students involved when they were discovered. So if you have a question or topic, get it answered. That's what we're here for. There are even free tutors that I will give you the information on how to get in touch with once the course starts. Of course, you're allowed to use the internet. Of course, you're allowed to use a website and help you learn the material, okay? But you're not allowed to copy a direct answer to the exact question that's been asked. I told you already about Safe Assign. So this is just an excerpt from the student handbook that deals with the academic integrity policy and how there's a file maintained on all reports of academic dishonesty, and you can read this. So please do not cheat, okay? And to make sure that you you actually tell us that you're not going to cheat, we will expect you to send an email stating that you have read the handout, just what it says here, and that you promise to do your own work this semester. And I will keep that on file. And actually, I may be mailing this out for every exam so that you remember, that you're supposed to do your own work. Remind you that you have to do this. Okay, so this is what you'll have to say. All right, so just getting back to the syllabus for a little bit, this goes over the special problem points, which are a form of extra credit that I use in this class. When I give out a special problem, what it is, it's probably going to be one of the activities from the activity sheets. But if you hand it in and do it, and you get a point for it, just 1 point, then this explains how I add up those points at the end of the semester. And I actually give you, say you get 12 special problem points, I give you 12% of the difference between 100% and your grade as extra credit, okay? So the worse you do in the class, the more these special problems will help you. But you can read this at home. I don't need to tell you about this. Obviously, the material on the exams will be stuff that we covered in class, from activities, graded assignments, special problems, sapling problems, laboratory work as well, which I know you're not doing the laboratory work, but you're watching it done and you're doing all the calculations and taking some of the data. I will always post detailed solutions to the activities on Blackboard. Okay, I want to tell you something which you may know already. This is a mid-semester grade date that I will be giving, and by then we will have only had one exam, so it'll be a kind of a tentative kind of grade. But what I want to say is that 2 weeks after the mid-semester grades are due, that's April 7th, that is the last day that this course may be dropped, okay? Now, the withdrawal policy has changed at Rhode Island College since last year. And the reason this was done was because many students were getting multiple W's. And it was really affecting their financial aid and their ability to finish college. So they changed the policy. And now, after the initial add drop period, a student is not able to withdraw from a course on their own. They have to get the professor's permission, and that is only until April 7th. April 7th is not the end of the semester. So you need to know by then. You need to let me know by then if you want to withdraw from the course, and I will withdraw you. I don't fight with students about that. If they have an issue, they have an issue, especially during these times. But after April 7th, if you're, if you do failing work, you will get an F. You cannot be withdrawn after that. So I have posted this on Blackboard, and it's some changes to this W policy. And so it sort of goes into the details here. And by the way, you can get a maximum of 5 withdraw grades in the entire time that you're at Rhode Island College. There's some significant changes, but if you're a freshman, this is the only policy you've ever known here. So you should read that. And, then I have a very detailed, I call it syllabus part 2, which is really more detailed about the topics. So it really gives you some more details about the topics, but it also lists, oh, I shouldn't have said quiz. I'm calling them exams now because that's really what they are. And so here I have exam. So this is just the first page. So it gives you the lab. It gives you all the exams. So there's 4 of them. Oh, I'm really stupid. I'm going to have to go fix that. Okay. But anyway, this just gives you a more detailed look at what we're going to be covering this semester. This is just the first page, but it goes on quite a bit. Unfortunately, I won't see you in lecture until after the first lab meets. So all the students in my lab section meets Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I will see you before I see you in lecture, and everyone else I will see you in lecture. So that's my little spiel about the intro to the course, and I hope you have a nice 2 days before classes start.